And with all of these instances that I've spoken about, people have been successful in healing themselves. And so now hundreds of thousands of people worldwide are using the journey to help heal both emotional issues and physical challenges. It's why it's being used in cancer hospitals, why it's being used by psychologists, psychiatrists, by business people. And what's been so moving is what has been happening in schools. And specifically, in South Africa, there was a beautiful woman there who was a school teacher, and she herself had been diagnosed with adult acne. And it was so severe, it was scarring her face. And of course, she went the medical route and tried to get medication prescribed, and nothing was healing it. Then she went the alternative route, and still she was not successful in healing. Finally, someone gave her the journey book, and she thought, what have I got to lose? I'll do the process in the back of the book. And when she underwent her healing journey, she got access to the memory of when her dad died, and how she repressed all that, and how she'd been so strong. And she'd been strong for everyone in the family, but she'd never released the stored pain. And it was all festering there inside of her. And indeed, the adult acne had started after her dad had died. Not only did she release this pain, but she came to a place of understanding and completion with her dad and wholeness. Now, her little daughter had been diagnosed with asthma and allergies that were so severe that her mother said it was almost as if she was allergic to life. And her daughter was allergic to hay, grass, nuts, milk. She was allergic to soya. She was allergic to dogs, cats, chickens. It was almost as if she was allergic to everything, and she'd grown very scrawny and very fearful in life. And when she went to kindergarten, Jayashree, her mother, got a phone call from the hospital. Her little daughter had been taken into hospital and had an anaphylactic fit, and her organs had begun to shut down. Of course, she rushed to the hospital, and the doctors thankfully got her daughter stabilized, and then gave Jayashree, her mother, a list of about 20 different drugs that her daughter was going to have to be taking for the rest of her life. And when Jayashree saw that, she was totally despairing. She said, my God, my child is going to be narcotized. I'm never really going to know my daughter because she's going to be so full of drugs, I won't even see her real personality. And she thought there must be another way. And so she thought, you know what, I'm going to try the journey process with my little girl. And her little girl found the process so easy, as children do. And she immediately went back to an old memory of when she was 2 years old. And this was a memory of when she had a little nanny at that time, because Jayashree, being a school teacher, had to be at school. And this was a very inexperienced nanny. And what happened was, every day this little toddler, 2 years old, would go out and try the door handle in the kitchen, to go out and play in the back garden. And the nanny, who was very inexperienced and just a young teenager, thought, my goodness, if she goes out there, she may get pecked by one of the hens or scratched by one of the cats or the dogs, or maybe she'll get hurt in the mango tree. And so every day when the little toddler would come in, the toddler would try the door handle, and every day the nanny would say to the toddler, no, no, you can't go out there. And finally she grew so exasperated and didn't know how to discipline the child that she said to the little girl, listen, if you go out there, there's a boogeyman in that tree. There's a monster in that tree, and he will eat you for breakfast. Now, of course, this 2-year-old, as 2-year-olds do, absolutely believed that this was true and was terrified. And the nanny got it, that she had leverage with this child. She finally had a tool to discipline the child. So every time a little girl would come into the kitchen, she'd say, don't even go near that door. He's waiting in that tree. He couldn't wait to have you for breakfast. And of course, this little girl grew terrified. Now, Jayashree, her mother, never knew about this, that this had happened. And she always wondered why it was when she came home and her daughter was only 2 years old, that when she would take her to her mother's house for dinner, that her daughter would scream at the top of her lungs. And she never knew why her daughter was so terrified. Now, part of the journey process does not just lay in us uncovering these old cell memories, but finally in releasing the stored memory and coming to a place of forgiveness. And this little girl not only released all the pain of that, but she came to realize that there wasn't a boogeyman in that tree. And she, like all children do, was able to forgive so easily. She completely understood that she was being disciplined. So here she is, 5 years old, undergoing this process, remembering a memory from when she was 2 years old. She clears it, lets it go, and forgives. And of course, her mother, so glad that she's freed from it, takes her out for the very first time into the back garden, introduces her to the mango tree, which of course there's no boogeyman out there, and to the dogs and the cats and the chicken and the hay. And she's never had an allergy since that day. Now, the journey work doesn't just work with allergies and asthma, it works with all manners of emotional and physical blocks. And it's a process that you can undergo. And this really is an invitation for you to go on your journey. And my prayer is always that we clear our issues before they end up manifesting as disease. Thankfully, her little girl is now 8 years old. She is robust, healthy, completely allergy-free. And like us, she's an example, because certainly if a child can do this work, certainly you can. And so what this video really is designed, it's an invitation for you to undergo the journey process work. Either to come to a journey intensive and roll up your sleeves and really learn the work hands-on, or to work with someone else and undergo the process work. But my prayer for everyone is that we clear out these emotional issues before they end up contributing to illnesses. And that we all discover this boundless love, this peace, this potential that's inside all of us. That we clear out our saboteurs, these silent blocks that hold us back from manifesting our potential. And we finally open into the true potential inside, into the love, the genius, the joy, the freedom, and let our creativity shine and our genius finally out to play. A lot of the people are familiar with journey work because it's famous for helping you have a direct experience of your own soul, for having an awakened experience. It gives you an awakening. And the fact that you are even listening to this and watching this video means that you've already received the call from deep inside yourself. Something called you to listen to this. And that something is your deepest self. It's time for you to come home. It's time for you to clear out the emotional issues and the physical blocks which have held you back from being fully vibrant and in love with the juice of life. It's time to experience your own enlightened awareness, the peace inside. Not as some airy-fairy idea or some notion, but as a direct, repeatable experience. And the journey gives you that. It gives you a step-by-step process to get in touch with your own infinite intelligence and clear your issues. It allows you to begin living your life as a full expression of the real you. So the time has come for you to begin your journey. The time is now.